I'd probably say classic rock is my favorite.
Uh-huh.
But then these last couple years, I started listening to, I'm getting you,
Thank you.
video game music a lot. Now, of course, I don't know if I'm actually going to survive.
Oh.
Crap. Okay, you're going to need... Gosh, darn it, everything's going to hell. Yeah, just focus on staying alive, but I'll keep talking. So, I've been listening to a lot of, video game music, and right before I did that, I had started listening to a lot of lyrical music, or not lyrical, instrumental, non-lyrical music. And I was trying to figure out, why am I enjoying this so much? And then I started listening to video game music, and I was really enjoying it. I'm like, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. Why am I enjoying this so much? And then I stopped and kind of tried to think about it, because I kind of have an analytical mind at times. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because... I think we're pretty much fucked. Because I spent so much time playing video games as a kid. I'm down,
that was such a side note. That was just so detrimental to our whole lives. That was funny. Sorry, go ahead.
So, yeah, I think... Nice job, by the way. I think the fact that I played so much video games as a kid kind of got me hooked on non-lyrical music, because most video game music, especially in the 16-bit era, there's no lyrics. It was just, little melodies. And I've noticed that the instrumental music I was listening to and the video game music I was listening to they're just almost always instrumental. I actually kind of avoid the license tracks that have, vocals. And so the last this last year, I've been listening to almost exclusively video game music. No, not exclusively, but almost exclusively. And one soundtrack I think you should give a chance to is the Shatter soundtrack. It's a little bit of an electronic kind of vibe, but just go on YouTube and listen to a couple of the Shatter songs. They're pretty much all great, but if you want me to recommend specific ones, I would probably go with Krypton Gardens, Neon, can't remember, something Neon, Argon Refinery, they're all elements and such.
Now, Shatter's a game?
Yes, Shatter is a brick-breaking game in the vein of Arkanoid, but it's on the PS3 from 2009, I believe.
I like me some Arkanoid.
PSN only. Maybe we'll play it sometime.
We should.
But, Just give a couple of those tracks a listen and let me know what you think. They're, in my opinion, amazing. I know that was pretty strong, but I think they're amazing.
No, that's
now, that was kind of a long-winded answer, so how about yourself? What have you been listening to?
Oh, dear me. I'm a rock fan. I like me some solid rock. But I guess I'm more of a punk fan. I mean, I'm going to show my age because that shows, what my age was. I was, 13 when punk became pretty big. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of Green Day. Stuff like that.
Green Day's pretty good, in my opinion.
Green Day's a great band. It's just, a lot of people don't like Green Day for some reason, which I don't understand. I mean, clearly, they're, one of my favorite bands, but I don't know. But, not to shout out to another YouTuber, but, I mean, might as well. I mean, he's an awesome dude, but, Smooth McGroove, dude,
I knew you were going to bring him up.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's more than awesome, dude.
I give him a lot of credit for,
I want to talk about... I got it!
Nice!
Platinum, baby!
Where are you? Where are you? I want to give you a high five.
33.
High five, woo! Jump! Jump! Woohoo!
Thank you for your help, Timmone. I know that was probably not very much fun watching me run around. Dude, that's my I think that's my 34th platinum and second since we've been doing the GameCast.
Oh my gosh!
About that.
Wait, what was the first one?
The XCOM Declassified. I mentioned that just an hour ago.
Clearly, I was not paying attention. Well, I get...
You did say you do that.
Clearly. But I guess I meant, when we were playing.
Oh, no. Okay, that's the first platinum I've got on the GameCast.
Yeah,
yes,
gotcha.
But did you want to say anything more? Because I want to talk about Smooth McGroove a little bit.
Oh, no, go for it.
So, Smooth McGroove, obviously, I love his content just because I love video game music. Obviously, I spent 20 minutes just talking about it. So, that part of it's awesome. Now, one thing I'll say, and this is not a knock against him, but just a recommendation I would make, is don't listen to a bunch of his stuff back to back. Like, don't watch 20 of his tracks in a row, because what I found is that kind of ruined it for me, because he kind of makes them all sound the same, but that's just because it's his voice, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah, exactly. What I like to do is watch, like, 1 or 2 a day, and then the next day I'll watch 1 or 2 different ones. And I love that he gives me he introduces me to music that I didn't ever hear, like, didn't ever know about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. Ooh, that's a rhino. But another thing I wanted to say is I had a great friend in college. His name was Blaze. You can probably extrapolate a lot about the guy just from that. But he's a really cool guy. Brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. Like the kind of guy who made me realize that I'm down, by the way. I'm a smart guy. He's a genius.
Yeah.
And he had this long hair, just like Smooth McGroove. And whenever I see Smooth, it reminds me of Blaze. I'm always like, oh, I miss Blaze.
I miss college.
So Blaze, if you're ever listening to the GameCast, shout out for this episode.
That's right, buddy. I don't know you, but shout out.
I'm so gonna text him and tell him about the channel now and be like, dude, you gotta check it out. And he'll be like, oh my gosh, why am I gonna look at this? And I'll give him the episode and be like, come on, just go to X, this point.
Yeah.
And I think he'll appreciate it.
Well,
I miss that guy. I hope he's doing well.
I hope so too. I don't even know him, but I'm a dude. I'm a nice guy.
Well, but as we established, you're a nice guy.
I am.
Why wouldn't you wish him well?
I'm a good dude, folks. That's basically all I got to contribute to the world.
Ah, shit! I put the point in the freaking riot shield instead of the armor. Gosh darn it.
Oh, I hate when that shit happens.
I know.
Ooh, yeah.
There
I
should
got
be a way
full
to,
turrets.
Nice. It would be really great if you could unselect a point. Like, it'd be nice if they gave you, 10 seconds to undo it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, clearly, we're human, so we're like, oh, shit.
Not to mention the fact that it's a pretty high-paced intensity game.
So, going back to, the old, Nintendo, listening to Nintendo classic songs, oh man, I've talked to you about this, Pippin, but I'm gonna bring it up anyway for the GameCast. Donkey Kong Country 2 has one of the best soundtracks ever. Right?
Sure.
Am I wrong?
Nope. And actually, when you told me that, when I was at work, I listened to music a lot. I have an office job, so that's what I'm doing.
I went to college.
You did too, so shut up. Sometimes I'll listen to music, and one day I was listening to the Donkey Kong Country 2 soundtrack, and I was like, that one was right. This is pretty good.
Oh, dear Lord.
I'm getting to the point where I haven't downloaded it to my personal library yet, but I'm going to do it. It's on my to-do list.
I mean, they're just... I don't even know how to explain it. They're relaxing, but, upbeat at the same time. It's hard to explain.
I understand what you're trying to say.
They're like, oh, man, I could just fall asleep to this music. And it's like, but I could also conquer the world. By the way, we're doing pretty good here.
I know. And suddenly, I don't want to brag here, but does it seem like it's a little easier since I'm actually focusing on, the objective?
Shooting stuff?
Well,
yes.
Yeah, that too.
I'm really happy that you're doing this. Oh, I feel bad though because I know at the end of this whole thing they're gonna show the kills. And all you were going for were the stashes, and you're still gonna get more kills than me.
Well, we'll see. You never know. But another soundtrack I listened to just a little while ago, and you're gonna love this one. Right around the same time I was listening to the Donkey Kong Country 2, Pokemon, the original red and blue version. I was listening to the soundtrack. Now, I'll say this. That is a good soundtrack for background noise. It is not a good. I'm listening to this intently. It gets repetitive pretty fast. But as like a background, like the kind of thing I'd be listening to while I'm working, it was so awesome. It reminded me so much of being like a little 5-year-old and playing.
Okay, Pippin. Here's a question. I don't know how much you played red or blue. I don't.
A lot.
Okay.
Well, I played yellow the most, but I played red as a kid.
Yes. I agree with that. But okay,
blue,
so I assume that when any kid who had sort of, the crappy dial-up internet, like figured out like the missing number.
Oh yeah.
Trick. How amazed were you when you found that out? Like when it actually worked for you the first time?
Flabbergasted. I mean, I immediately duped my Master Ball.
Yes!
And my rare candy.
Wait. Okay, so here's the story for you. I'm sorry. I asked you the question, now I'm gonna give you a story.
That's cool.
So, this is what I figured out. When I read about him, for anybody, everybody who's listening, you don't know me, but I suffer from what they call the ADD.
Oh, what is this? What is this?
This new disease. Yes. No, I suffer. I have ADD, and I don't focus for very long. Since that's the symptom of ADD.
I'd hope most of our listeners know what that is.
Yeah. So anyway, so like I was reading through like online. It's the dial-up old school. You're like, oh man, I can only go to like one website and then like internet's done. So I figured that all out on the internet, or my friend told me or something, but I wasn't paying attention fully. Who would have thought? And so I heard that you can get unlimited, like whatever slot number. I think it was like 6. Like your six. Yeah, your 6 slot number will become like unlimited. I was like, awesome. So I was like, all right. So I did all that. I did the whole thing. You have to talk to that dude that like falls asleep or whatever, like needs coffee, and like all of that. And then I caught missing number.
Ooh.
And if you don't realize it clearly, if you're younger than us, you won't realize how bad that is, and if you're older than us, you clearly don't know what the hell that means. But I caught him, and that ruins the game file, like your save file.
Yep.
It will destroy anything that's in it. And I was like, so I caught him because I was like, oh, I add him to my Pokedex, I got a cool Pokedex going on. And so I caught him, and I looked through it, and okay. My friend at the time, he was a big Pokemon player. I'll tell you who it was later, Pep. He was like, oh, dude, you can't catch him because that will ruin your game file. And the good friend that he was, we were up at his lake cottage. So he was pretty rich. But we were up there, and I remember... Yeah, you might. Yeah, you probably
NA?
would. NA, yeah. So we were up at his lake cottage,
okay.
And we were like... He was so nice to me. He was like, I'll reset my game when you reset your game. So we started at the same position. I was like, oh!
What? Oh, man, I didn't know he would... Man, that is a good friend.
That was the nicest thing. And I was like, oh, dude. Because, like, he was really good at the game at the time, and I was, like, kind of beginning. I clearly didn't know you couldn't catch that thing. So he was like, yeah, let's do it together. I was like, oh, dude, you were like, the coolest person ever. But the thing was, with him, he was really mean to other people. But he really liked me for some reason. I don't know why, but he was, like, the best friend that a guy could have with me.
I felt like he was always, like... I wish I had been better friends with him. I always really liked him. He was a cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he did have that kind of... Every once in a while, he was just a jerk.
He was a dick sometimes, yeah.
Which, I mean, everyone is, but I'm talking, like, every once in a while, he would just do stuff that, like, wow, that's not even, like, mean. That's, like, excessively mean,
Yeah, I understand.
Like, not to this extreme, but, like, where little cartoons of people pulling heads off dolls. Like, it was kind of like, that's, like, shockingly mean.
Yeah, that was yeah.
And part of the reason it was so shocking is because he was almost always so nice. So those couple times, I went, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, and I don't want to pull a pity party on me, but like he was like legitimately the only friend I could make like in like
Aww.
early
What about
junior
me?
high. Yeah, early junior high. I'm sorry, you were in the other
Right.
classes.
Yeah, I know.
But hell, whenever we had the same class, we became friends, right? Gym class? Totally.
Exactly. So I actually, just real quick, so yet another Nintendo console I owned, the Game Boy, and only ever bought 2 games for, kind of a theme if you haven't noticed. The only 2 games I ever owned for the Game Boy were red version and yellow version. And I'll never forget begging my dad to get them for me, and he took me to the Toys R Us. We were about to go on a long vacation, or we were going to go on a vacation to Florida, which is a long drive from Indiana,
Oh, yeah.
where we used to live. So he's like, all right, we'll get you the Game Boy so you have something to do and you're not annoying the hell out of us. And so
At least he knew.
we go, and I'm like, what games do you want? I'm like, I want Pokemon Yellow and I want Pokemon Blue. He's like, you want 2 of the exact same game? And I was like, oh no. I was trying to explain to him how they're not the same. And only a gamer and a kid at the time would be able to legitimately argue that they are not the same.
Yeah.
When, let's be honest, they're really the same
They're
game.
very much similar, very same game.
Like, if I was an adult in judging that, I'd be like, this is the same game.
Yeah, I'd be like, fuck you, kid, we're getting one.
Yeah. And as you know, I'm obsessed with the color blue, so I wanted blue version because it's blue, and I wanted yellow version because that's the only way to get all 3 starters.
Mhm.
But when we went to Toys R Us, we were going to go on the vacation tomorrow, the next day, and they didn't have blue. They only had red. I'm like, crap. So basically, I had to make the decision, do I tell my dad, no, I don't want it, and risk never getting it, or just say, no, I'll take red, that's okay. So I ended up taking red instead, and I don't regret it, but I always did wish I had blue.
Yeah.
And, but the funny thing is, it's funny that you said to reset your game file, because the main reason I bought 2 was because yellow one was going to be the one I never reset, and then whenever I wanted to start a new game, that's what I would do red one for.
Huh.
And the second reason was so I could buy a link cable, we talked about this before, and I could trade between my own games. Now I had to borrow someone else's Game Boy,
yeah.
but plenty of people
Yeah.
had a Game Boy, So I could get those, stupid ones like Machamp.
Shut up.
Nobody likes Machamp.
I hate you.
No, you don't, but I get it.
I hate you for hating my second favorite Pokemon. Okay, he's not in my top 5, but I did like Machamp.
Some of these days, don't say that, you ruined it. If you go back and look at that video, the one where you say you love Machamp, in the comment on the video I put, you notice how Timmone says his favorite Pokemon is Machamp and then doesn't even put him on his all-star team, but then you just ruined it by saying that.
I'm sorry.
You should be sorry.
I ruined the GameCast. So, are you done talking? I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
No, I'm done.
Talk over. So here's the way I learned about Pokemon. I kept hearing hearsay about this game called Pokemon. It was like, yeah, you can catch Pokemon or catch your own monsters and like fight them. I was like, oh, that sounds alright, whatever. And so I'm like, well, and then I just kept hearing about it. And like, I had Nintendo Power at the time. I was like, oh, cool. And I just kept going up, and my friends were talking about it. And I was like, fine, I'll see what the hype was about. So I went to a local game store, and it was like, I saw blue. Yeah, it was McMahon.
I wish McMahon was still around. Shout out to McMahon.
Yes, McMahon's
Like,
it no longer around.
If anyone has any idea what we're talking about with McMahon's, give us a like. I don't even care. We did it for cold water. We'll do it for McMahon.
That's right. So anyway, I was there, and my mom was with me. Obviously, she had to pay. like 4th grade. So,
No, we were not 4th grade. You mean we were like 4?
That was 4th grade, dude. That game didn't come out till like 96.
Okay.
So anyway, we were in elementary school. We were in elementary school. And I just remember saying, my mom was talking to me. She's like, you can get a game. Like, it was for like, not the weekend, but like for like the month or year or whatever, you know. It's like, yeah, we haven't gotten you a game in a while. Let's get you a game. So I was like, oh, alright, well, I've heard a lot about this Pokemon, you know. And I bought it. I was like, oh yeah, Pokemon Blue. Because I bought Blue because I thought Blastoise looked cooler than Charizard.
Well, that was a good call.
Yes, it was. Come on. Oh, I'm down.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down too.
Uh-oh. So I bought Blue, and I remember I had the Super Game Boy. That's a peripheral for the Super Nintendo, where you put the Game Boy game in, and you can play it on the TV, you know, into the Super Nintendo. You can play it on a big screen TV. And I will continue this conversation in a bit, because I have to pee again.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, well, this will be a break in our
Alright.
game, whatever.
Well, that's gonna be... Alright, go ahead.